that BBC employees lied and used fake documents to obtain the interview with my mother. It brings indescribable sadness to know that the BBC's failures contributed significantly to her fear, paranoia, and isolation that I remember from those final years with her. But what saddens me most is that if the BBC had properly investigated the complaints and concerns first raised in 1995, my mother would have known that she had been deceived.
Fraud, forgery, witness intimidation, perjury, and a sore todger are the basis for Prince Harry's lawsuit. Nobody's talking about how Meghan Markle was the brainchild behind the legal lawsuit strategy. Because let's not forget that Meghan Markle is Rachel Zane from Suits.
Mike Ross? Hi, I'm Rachel Zane. I'll be giving you your orientation.
I've got a photographic memory, pretty much a legal superhero. I can recite the Constitution.
History is repeating itself. What Martin Bashir did to Princess Diana is exactly what Prince Harry did to Baroness Lawrence of Clarendon, who lost her 18-year-old son to a hate crime. We're also going to talk about how Elton John manipulated Meghan Markle's hunger for fame to get her to recruit Harry to start this whole mess. And it has been a nightmare for the royal family. And this is why Harry and Meghan are currently in the United Kingdom. Meghan is running from the IRS, and Harry is home looking for Pa's help. My name is Paula M. I was a diplomat for 14 years, turned YouTuber in the quest for finding answers to the questions that many of us have in our own minds. This is absolutely imperative that you watch, and we need your support because I'm going to show you in real time how YouTube censors and suppresses our videos. When I posted my video yesterday, it went straight up being 1 out of 10. When a video goes up to be one of the top 10, what usually happens is that YouTube keeps promoting the video to have greater reach. Within 4 minutes of the video going viral or starting to go viral, YouTube suppressed the video. It stopped promoting it. Not only did not promote it, it censored it to the point that they manipulated the algorithm to go down. This never happens. It takes about a day for YouTube really to tell you how the video is doing. And when a video starts to go viral, it usually goes up. It doesn't drop like that. Make of that what you will. So this is why we need your support. And please watch the video until the end. And if you can, please share it, like it, and subscribe. That's very much appreciated. This is what we face on a daily basis. Not only do we have to contend with the mainstream media lies and other big YouTubers lying or gaslighting the public, but we also have to deal with YouTube literally suppressing the videos and fooling the algorithm.
I was such a fraud.
Once you understand why this lawsuit came about, it'll all make sense. And the danger of having a person of Harry's complete lack of intelligence with such a huge platform being backed by the royal family, it's even more dangerous. On March 28th, 2016, Elton John was sued for sexual harassment by an off-duty Los Angeles police officer who worked on his security detail. He claims that he was repeatedly groped by the Grammy winner and who told him, "Ooh, I like your todger." However, in July 18th, 2016, Sir Elton John lost the bid to keep this quiet, and the press won. He was livid. He wanted revenge. Enters Meghan Markle.
Mike Ross? Hi, I'm Rachel Zane. I'll be giving you your orientation.
Whose claim to fame is to have committed perjury in the UK courts when she lied in a written sworn statement stating that she had never, ever talked to Caroline Duran or Omid Scobie nor collaborated in any shape or form with them. In 2019, the Queen invited the Sussexes to Sandringham for summer vacation. Meghan Markle refused, claiming that Archie was too young to travel by plane to Sandringham within the United Kingdom. Instead, she got on Sir Elton John's private plane and flew to the south of France, where, by coincidence, David Sherborne, Harry's current barrister, was there. This chance meeting led to Prince Harry being the star witness on Sir Elton John's lawsuit against the newspapers. And this was described by Prince Harry himself in his book Spare, where he says it was partially down to Elton John and David. At the end of the 4 recent visit, they introduced us to a barrister and acquaintance of theirs, a lovely fellow who knew more about the phone hacking scandal from anyone that I've ever met. According to the 1980 Limitations Act in the United Kingdom, this case should have never been heard or should have been dismissed right on the merits that it was past its due date to file this type of claim. Elton John was able to resuscitate him by using Harry, who was the king's son. Right now, what we're seeing, it started with traffic of influence. Having Harry front this lawsuit was not enough. They needed somebody with gravitas, somebody who was respected, somebody who would lend credibility to this absolute bogus lawsuit. Enters Baroness Lawrence of Clarendon. Baroness Lawrence of Clarendon's 18-year-old son was murdered in a terrible hate crime. And believe it or not, the Daily Mail championed her cause for 19 years until she got justice. So no wonder they were surprised, because they were her biggest allies into helping her secure her win.
How did you first become involved in the legal case?
It was a contact from Prince Harry. He was busy looking at his own case, and then my name kept propping up. And so he felt that I should know about it.
When you first were told about this, what was that moment like?
I think the moment was disbelief, that why would anybody want to be listening to my calls, hacking into my phone. It just floors you because you don't expect that, but not somebody like me anyway. All I'm trying to do over the years is just try and get justice for my son.
What would you like to see happen in the case?
I think I'd like to see the Daily Mail apologise, and a public apology for what they've done. I think the fact that we as a family has been going through so much, and they've added to the trauma.
Clearly, the Baroness would never for 1 second think that Harry would lie to her, right? Yet, history is repeating itself. The Baroness, of course, believed Harry because she never thought that he would do to her what Martin Bashir did to the late Princess Diana, which is manufacture evidence, falsify witness testimonies in order to get her to join their lawsuit. Never occurred in her head. Also because who would do that? Who would use the grief of a mother whose son was murdered in a hate crime? Because that's exactly what allegedly Prince Harry did. He used this mother's grief, and he chose a Black lady during that time because he has been weaponizing race for the longest time, starting with his very fake Black wife. What kind of a creature does that? You would think that he would have learned. In 2023, Gavin Burrows, one of the lead witnesses, testified before the judge that he had never written that witness testimony, that he didn't know what the hell they were talking about. The idea of using a Black lady who had lost her son to a hate crime, who was helped by the very same press that were suing, allegedly came from Meghan Markle, who decided to weaponize race against the press. Isn't that insane? In 2023, Gavin Burrows testified before the judge that that was not his signature, that the whole testimony had been falsified, that he had no idea what the hell Harry and his team were doing. Yet the judge allowed this trial to continue, did not order an investigation as mandated by the Perjury Act in the United Kingdom. Why? Why? Why is the press now acting like, oh, we didn't know? Shocking developing. I did 2 videos about it back in 2023 when this whole thing started. According to UK law, a judge must be fair, impartial, and ensure that all evidence is presented correctly and meets the standards of credibility. When he finds out that that is not the case, according to the Perjury Act of 1911, when there's a fraudulent claim or there's a credible evidence that a witness testimony has been tampered with or is false, he must report it to the authorities. The judge never did that, which is why this current witness, Gavin Burrows, is in the win, because he knows that the judge is not following procedure and his life is in danger, because Harry at this point in time is willing to do anything. This is just my very humble opinion. Allegations of criminal activity, such as perverting the course of justice or witness intimidation, are serious matters, and they have to be passed on to the Crown Prosecution Service, which the judge has failed to do. In a lot of cases, the judge can order a mistrial or terminate the proceedings if it's necessary in the interest of justice. At the beginning of this video, I told you that had it not been Harry fronting this lawsuit, the judge would have dismissed it on statute of limitation merits alone. It's way past its due date. But no, they allowed it in. Gavin Burrows knows that the judge is in on it. Gavin Burrows, the witness, knows that Harry is backed by powerful people. Gavin Burrows knows that he's on his own and that nobody's going to help him out, and that they want to make him the scapegoat of everything. I've heard yesterday Tom Sides talking about poor Harry. He doesn't know any better. You know, he had such a privileged life. Poor guy. Ignorance is not a legal defense. And having a skanky wife who egged him on to pursue this absolutely disgusting strategy is also not a legal defense. Harry has to be arrested. At the end of the day, he's the one leading the charge. He is responsible under the eyes of the law. Him and his skanky lawyer and Elton John. Why aren't people calling for Harry to be arrested? Why hasn't the judge asked the authorities to start an investigation as mandated by the Perjury Act of 1911? This is absolutely baffling. But what is worse is that all of this that I described to you has been orchestrated by Meghan Markle. She manipulated Harry into going along with Elton John's plans. They used David Sherborne, who was the lawyer for Princess Diana. And they used Baroness Lawrence of Clarendon, who lost her 18-year-old son to a hate crime. All of this just to get him to sue the press because Elton John was angry with him. Should the judge be investigated, or at the very least questions as to why he continues to allow this trial to go on? Having found out in 2023 by Gavin Burrows himself that this evidence was false, that everything was falsified. Why is this judge allowing this farce to go on? What's going on here? Are we going crazy? Why hasn't this judge reported this criminal activity to the authorities as mandated by the Perjury Act in their very own country? If you ask me, this is all very shady, and no wonder Gavin Burrows is in the wind. He knows that he's not protected. And disgusting, isn't it? Karma happened to Meghan Markle because once Elton John got his lawsuit fronted by Prince Harry, he didn't need her anymore. Bye-bye, Meghan. Bye-bye. But now, Harry has this hot potato in his hands. And this was the brainchild of his wife, Meghan Markle, the suit's paralegal. This is shocking. This is what the legal system looks like for you right now. Traffic of influence. Because this judge, if he were a clean judge, he would have stopped this. But he doesn't want to stop it. He doesn't want to do what's right because he knows that if he does, it will end up with Harry, Elton John, and even his solicitor being in jail. They're trying to protect little ginger Harry. This is why Harry and Meghan Markle allegedly are in the UK right now, because Meghan is fleeing the IRS and Harry knows that his paw is going to help him out. I am truly disheartened by all of this. Please don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe, beautiful people.